This story is messier than a teenage girl's bedroom. Hi, I'm author R.L. Raintree, and this is Reels and Reads with honest reviews and occasional spoilers. Today I am reviewing Cutthroat by Octavia Grant. Cutthroat is a psychological thriller and suspense novel about broken vows, broken promises, broken trust, and the ruthlessness of revenge. This book is emotionally charged, tense, and full of shocking revelations that will keep you on your toes. If you're a person who likes messy, dramatic storylines, this book is for you. It will always keep you guessing, and just when you think you know exactly what's going to happen, and even if you do manage to figure it out, you're still blown away by the things that take place in this book. I truly didn't know if I wanted to believe the hype about this book when I first read it. Everyone swore up and down that I was not ready, that this book was unhinged, but I can verify that this book definitely lives up to its mind-blowing reputation. The character dynamics are so authentic that I was lulled into believing the lies that I knew that they were saying to each other. So much so that when something shocking happened or when a major revelation happened, I was just as distraught as the characters. I was just as upset as the characters, even though I could pretty much figure out where we were going with this or, you know, take a lucky guess. My trust was broken, just like the main female character and other characters, depending on which storyline in the plot that we were focusing on. The tension in this novel from beginning to end, and I mean from the very first word to the very last word of the novel, it's so high. The tension is so high. I found myself talking to the book the way I talk to the TV or the film screen in the cinemas when I'm looking at horror films. Don't go in there. What are you thinking? What are you doing? I mean, I was very vocal reading this book. Like, you may not want to read this around other people if you tend to be vocal during films or television shows. You're definitely going to be doing that here. And I found myself very upset when people would interrupt me. I read this book in one sitting because the tension was just perfect. It's like you're on a great roller coaster ride and you don't want to get off. It's like being on a roller coaster and having someone who's too afraid to finish, causing the ride to have to stop just to let them off. You don't want to be interrupted when you're reading this book. Immediately within the first 5 pages, my stomach was upset. I felt like there were butterflies in my own gut. I knew what to expect. I knew what was coming. Like, there were signs, and if you've ever been in this situation, you will be triggered. I mean, I knew what was coming. Do you know what I mean? I don't mean like it was predictable, but it's one of those things where if you know the signs, you know what's coming. And my stomach was upset, and I was upset for the main female character. I wanted her not to go through with this. I was like, please don't do it. Please don't go, girl. You know. But at the same time, when it happened, despite the fact that I figured it out because of my own life experiences, I was still pissed off like I just went through this with her. It still blew my mind. I wanted to, pardon my French, whoop some ass. The pacing in this novel is perfect. It perfectly balances the amount of tension and the dynamics between the characters. The characters were consistent. Even though we had all these shocking revelations, for example, a character would present as one type of person, and then we'd get the shocking revelation, and then you'd realize they were really something else. There was still a consistency. Like, it made sense that even though you thought this was a good person, when you find out that they're not a good person, it doesn't seem off kilter. It doesn't seem inauthentic. It makes sense that you were able to believe that they were good when they weren't. And if they were really, really good, it makes sense that they were a bad person. It's shown to you in great detail how they diverted from the path of good to the path of wrong, even though you still hate them and you want to put your foot up their butt. It's within character, I should say, for the characters to make the decisions that they made. It's highly consistent, the tension is managed, and even with shocking revelations, everything is perfectly balanced and everything is perfectly paced. Now, there were moments where there were some typos and some grammatical errors that distracted me, and there were moments when I wasn't quite sure who was speaking. For me, this was right at the heart of the novel, kind of in the middle where everything has gone crazy. Everything that you thought in the first act of the book, in the middle of the second act of the book, you know that it's all BS, and you still don't know everything. You still haven't had all of the emotional revelations, but most of the typos and the difficulty with understanding who was speaking happened right at the peak of the novel, almost as if the writer had so much passion, so much put into this book that she kind of lost track of the editing. And I could see if she's editing it herself, getting to that part of the book and being so focused on all of the little minute details that she managed perfectly that she might have overlooked some of the typos and errors. I also have to take into consideration the fact that this was on Kindle Unlimited. It's very easy to upload the wrong file. It's very easy for something to get adjusted through no fault of your own. And it's also possible that she's long since caught those errors and fixed them. But because I downloaded the novel prior to her fixing it, I still have the old version. So give her some grace. And again, depending on when you download this, you may not even see that typo. Now, spoiler alert for the ending. Spoiler, spoiler, spoiler. I did not like the ending. It went over the top. This was the one time that the novel went too far with what the characters did. It actually tipped into unbelievable. But overall, this is a 5-star novel. I highly recommend it to everyone, and I would love to know what you all think in the comments.